Hi everyone, my name is Lena Thompson and today I'm speaking to Isabel all the way from Indiana. And Isabel is a speaker, sociologist and an award-winning filmmaker. So over the last year or so that I have been speaking and interviewing people for my LinkedIn channel, I've never really spoken to anyone who recorded a movie, let alone actually won an award today. So I'm really excited to talk to Isabel today. Hi Isabel, how are you doing?
Hi, Lena. Thank you so much. And it's interesting. You're one of the few who says my name actually, like how my mom would mostly say it, Isabel.
Isabel, really? Or maybe it's my Russian accent that just kicked in there.
Oh yeah, that could about probably more that
Eastern
direction. So yeah, thank you
European.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
So
awesome.
tell us, like, what is it that made you even create the movie? It's not something you've been involved in all your life. How did you get into it?
Yes, I want to say, what did you make do? What had you made that do that? Desperation. I have to say, I've been doing my work as a sociologist and emotions clearing practitioner, and as a speaker, and really focusing on the spiritual part of how we live, like how society works, and how we can infuse it more with a spiritual mindset to become more successful as communities, as societies, as countries in the way we operate with each other. So I've been doing that for 10 plus years. And and then I'm originally from Germany and I moved to the US 12 years ago for good. I was here before that as well, but for good 12 years ago. And it really opened up my mind to the differences between different countries. We just talked about it since we both traveled a lot and have lived in different countries. And it just really opens up your horizon to so much and how different people operate. And then I came to the US and I knew I couldn't really work within a set workspace. It just really I don't know, it just felt like I was in chain. I couldn't really express my creativity. And so you buy into the entrepreneurship world. You have to become an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur, you have to do it a certain way. You have to create funnels and everything that comes with it to get high paying clients. And that term by itself, I really don't like at all. Because my purpose, my calling here within this lifetime is to support people on their healing journey. And so does that mean I can only make a living and can only support people if they're able to pay me $10,000 a month, you know? And I didn't want to limit that. So I got really tired after 10 years of doing business the normal way. And I was crying to my husband, like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. It just doesn't resonate. Everyone is talking about strategies, and I can't hear it anymore. It just got too much. I was like, I want something tangible. Everyone is talking about emotional intelligence and spirituality, and there's nothing tangible with it. And as a sociologist, I am used to statistics, empirical studies, and looking at different, you know, demographics and then adding them into other statistics. And I really got to a breaking point where I said, I don't think we're doing the world society any favor if we continue to create statistics and labels and boxes and all of that, to understand more of who we are with each other and of each other. It just didn't make sense to me, and because it was in the end all about control. And so, like I said, that one night I just really broke down and I said to my husband, I don't want to do business anymore like the way I did. Maybe I should just get a job. Like I was like at the point where I'm like, well, let's just have 10 kids and I'll just be home, because I was so tired of just trying to fit in. And he looked at me, I'm like, you have so much content over the last 15 years, like all the speeches that you have, and all of them draw through your experience that you started to have coming to and living in different countries. So why don't you do something with that, like a film? And excuse me, Kyle Cease was someone who really inspired me, who said, just do something simple. I'm like, just do something simple. What would really light me up? What would really give me something that I want to do? And so I went to bed and I just meditated the next morning about it. And suddenly I had this entire script come. And I heard this voice say, just try it with the film. Make it happen, make it work. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to create a film. I'm not a director. I have no background in it whatsoever. But I felt this call to just get it out there on Facebook. And there we were. People just came lining up like, hey, I was looking as a videographer for a project to support that is more a passion project. I can help you with creating the script and dense it down to 1 hour. And I can help you with editing. And hey, there's someone at Purdue University who would love to do some of the animation. I'm like, oh my God, this is all coming together. And I had no budget whatsoever. So they all really supported the film just because they loved the message. And so we got it done by the end of last year. And then it was just, for me, I wanted something more tangible. Everything is like our brain recognizes everything in picture. And we can talk about spirituality, we can talk about soul connection and emotion challenges as much as we want. If people don't understand where, like, within a picture, where it is at and how this works and what comes up when you connect with people, there's just something missing. We know it, we get excited, but we can't really do anything with it. That was my experience, especially with the younger generation and the questions that I received. And so that's how the power of connection came to be. And then we finished up by the end of last year. Thank you, COVID. It was supposed to be earlier, but again, it was divine timing. It was just perfect timing for everything that had happened until then.
Yeah, and you touched on something quite important. You said when you got fed up with doing all of this, you actually went and you ask yourself a question: what lights me up? What would I love? Rather, it's like, how can I make this work that stresses me so much? And how can I carry on being stressed? Which is so many people, that's what they would carry on doing, you know, because asking that question, what would I love, is not something we really brought up with. It's not something that is known to us. We have to make things work. We have to make them happen. And it's just stepping back and just kind of really just letting go. You know, like when you had the entire scripts coming into your head. I mean, that's incredible, right? And I think once you put intention there and you just take a step back, miracles truly unfold. I know we spoke earlier last week where we said the way people started lining up for you. It actually reminded me of Rhonda Byrne movie The Secret, when she was telling her story and how the whole movie script manifested for her when speakers started showing up, people started coming, and it was similar to your journey, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, same for us. And then there was one film director who, well, for a film festival, he's a director for several film festivals, and he just kept me going. We couldn't do the first deadline. He heard of the film and wanted me to submit it to his film festival, and we couldn't make the deadline. That was last July, and he kept checking in with me every month, like, where are you at? I want to see what you're creating with this. I love the message and I want you to finish this, because I was really close to just saying, okay, I'm done. Maybe it's not the right timing, because COVID really got us to a point where we couldn't film a lot of the things that I had in mind and how I wanted this to look like. So we had to find alternatives to, excuse me, to do that differently. So we had to be creative, but they were just really people on along the way to finishing that, where you never even thought, like, why is he so encouraging? He doesn't know me. Why? I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of other people out there who create incredible projects. So why is he doing that? And there have been hundreds of submissions. So there wasn't any reason for him, to continue, but he just, those are the people that you start to attract, that just continue to speak into the message, into what you're doing. And still, I mean, you think like, okay, this is just crazy. I'm not even sure what I'm doing. But
it's amazing when you have somebody like that to believe in you and support you, and it's valuable. So what is the message of this film really, and what would you like people to take away from it?
Yes, the big message really is for me to help people understand that we are all connected. What I do to me, to myself, or what I do to the person next to me, I do pretty much to everyone else. Everything has a ripple effect. And I noticed in my conversations, especially with younger people, they were trying to figure out the relation between who I am and how I fit into a community, how I fit into a society. And so the the film title came to be The Power of Connection, Change the World by Changing Your Perception. Because again, when I coach, especially younger people, the question was, well, how can I change the world? What can I do? And I was like, everything starts with you, but they didn't understand it. So what we've done with the film is to create a metaphor around a storyline. When I first came to the US and I started a relationship with a man of color, and he's incredible. We're still friends, but I had suddenly this mindset from everything that had been taught and programmed over the years, especially growing up under communism, since I'm from East Germany. You just see the movies, in movies, a certain kind of people are being portrayed as a certain type. Like in that instance, Black people are gangsters, criminals. They're always running around with guns. Like that was programmed into my mind so that I started to really freak out to the point where I had people come on dates with us and he didn't know. And I just realized how much I was judging him instead of giving him an opportunity to show up as an individual. And I know that from traveling around. I've been to Hungary, I've been to, obviously when you're in Germany, you go to Denmark, France, you go around it because it's easy, it's quick, right? But you have certain judgments and you experience certain judgments. Germans are not very welcome in northern France. You feel that, you get to hear that just because of history, just because of trauma that we have inflicted on each other and ourselves. And so I want people to really open up to the idea that we can heal that we can leave that as a society, the generations that are alive right now, and take that and leave that behind. Almost like I'm hitting the reset button. That was one of my talks that I wanted to do for a TED Talk. And they didn't quite like the idea of they loved it but didn't want me on stage with it because it was too radical. But what I really love about that is like almost like hitting a reset button. And I think that is what the film does. We can hit a reset button as a society, take a few minutes just to reflect on what I just listened and heard, and how my brain is actually really programmed and how I approach certain people. What are my judgments? What are my opinions? What do I bring with me into a conversation that doesn't allow the flow of ease and trust? Because most of us come at each other with a certain level of mistrust. It's like, oh, can I trust them? Are they really going to do that? Are they reliable? And when you don't have those judgments, when you're aware of what's coming up, you can catch yourself in the moment and say, oh my gosh, like, who am I even giving them a chance to be
or is it
themselves?
just a program that is running,
right?
Am I just running a program now rather than actually, being present with that person?
Yep, exactly. So what I really want for people to understand, like we used an old Spanish home. And so with every, we created that analogy of this house is your subconscious, and you just go into your subconscious, and each room described a certain area of what is actually programming you, all the way to spirituality, because religion, institutional religion, has been used to control people, to create a power struggle between or within the dualism. I am up high, I have the power, I can control. That means you're down here and you're controllable, able to be manipulated into what I want you to do. And that power struggle, that hierarchical system that we have created, is what really keeps us from understanding the concept of oneness. And so those are all the different areas that we're taking on in that film within an hour, which is quite challenging. But I think it gives enough insight for people to say, oh my gosh, I probably have to watch it again and just go through it for myself and start conversations. The goal really is of the film is not to say, here, this is what you need to do. This is how we can save the world. It was created, or I wanted to create it so that we can start more deeper conversations, more honest conversations, and to inspire curiosity for the most part, being more curious about each other, asking more questions, slowing more down and letting go of this hassle mentality, because we feel like we have to get ahead of someone else to be successful, and redefine how we live with each other, how we want to live with each other, and the struggles that we just accept for no apparent reason except for individual survival.
And it all comes down to awareness, isn't it? Because when you're aware, you don't really have the capacity to judge or run any programs, because your focus is really being the core focus of the person you're talking to, or the things that you experience, and the things that feel good for you, rather than judgmental and, you know, this limiting conditions and belief that we all really have in our lives. And it's something, I mean, I can definitely relate to it, because when I got an opportunity to go work in Germany many years ago, my first instinct was, hang on, I'm Russian, I don't like Germans, what are they going to do to me? You know, I'm a Russian Jew.
I can totally relate to that.
Persecuted in Ukraine, they had to run away during the World War II, and all of these things running in my head. And I remember arriving to the airport, and this guy's like, says to me, he's German guy in German, says, oh, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking to me about. He says, can I help you with the suitcase? I'm like, oh, he's quite nice, you know. And it's just, I mean, I made such a difference. It was like 16, 17 years ago, and I'm still even in touch with some of them, and I absolutely love that. But yet I was very apprehensive going there because of what I grew up with, the stories, you know, that were told to me.
Yeah, and the judgment for Germans around Russians is they always just drink, that's all they do, and they're very aggressive in their approach to life. And you see, there are those judgments that just come up, and especially for East Germans, we were we were mad at Russians and at Americans because they didn't save us too, you know. There are those stories.
Yeah, you see, now we're getting along just fine.
Right? So there is hope for the world.
There's hope. And even with your movie out, there's definitely more hope.
Yeah, once you become aware of all of that, and it's just about radical honesty with yourself and not thinking you have to be right with everything the way you see the world. It's about true reflection instead of reaction, and giving people a chance, especially giving people a chance to be heard, and to be heard yourself, and listen to everyone else, you know. I mean, I have friends from all over the world. I mean, I don't know how many countries there are that I don't have friends. My husband is always making fun of them, like, you're making friends everywhere, like even at a gas station. I'm like, well, I don't know. It's just how you connect with people. If you're open to connecting with others just for the sake of connecting, not even like there's not a obligation. You just enjoy it more. You just connect more. And that's where Americans can really appreciate them, about their love for small talk. They love to do a lot of small talk, and sometimes those conversations get really deep if you're just open to it.
So where can people watch this film? Where is it available?
Right now it's available on our website called thepowerofconnection.net. Where you can, you know, there's a press release, there is a director's statement, there is the film where you can watch it. We left it on the side right now because well, you know, again, with everything, there's a lot of judgment that comes up for people. And as soon as you get it out into the world, there's a lot of pushback, because suddenly you talk to people's subconscious and you call them out and how they think and how they have been trying to keep themselves safe for so long. And so, yeah, we have everything on the website available, and it's been an incredible ride. I mean, I literally check my emails every week, and then there's like, you made it to the final round with this award show. And I have another one coming up this Friday, which I'm really excited about. They actually do a live announcement on Facebook. So I'm excited to see how that's going to work. But it's almost every week where people reach out. I'm like, hey, we love your concept. Would you love to submit it to our film festival for blah, blah, blah. Most of them are in September, October. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, what happened?
It all started as a thought, right? And it just shows that things truly are created twice, once in your thoughts, once in your physical world. And if you want to give that a chance and take an action, which amazing. Well done. Massive congratulations again.
Thank you.
I will share the link to the website to film underneath the interview, so anybody who wants to watch it. It's a brilliant film. I actually watched it yesterday. It reminded me of What the Bleep Do We Know, or What the Bleep Do You Know? Do you know that movie?
I do know it, and would you believe it? We had to watch it when we went through coaching training, and I cannot remember what it was about. I think I have to watch it again.
Yeah, well, it's a really good film, but yeah, it just was a lot of kind of, you know, aspects of it that reminded me of that.
That's from the
film.
70s, right?
Probably 90, I would say 90s. Yeah,
Was it
it's not as
90s?
old. Yeah, there was Dr. Jodie Spencer, Bob Proctor was in there. There was a lot of big names in there.
I need to watch it
really
again. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, Isabel, it was lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the
Thank
awards
you.
on Friday. I hope you win many more, and many more films are on the way now that you know how it's all done, right?
Oh yes, I already have some ideas. We already have an idea for a short film, and I have an idea for an animation that hopefully I can combine that with a children's book, all around the overall idea of how can we rise, and how can we teach our children already this kind
That's
of
a
mindset.
very important topic, but I will definitely talk on that more in another time, because that's a whole new topic I'm absolutely fascinated by. So thank you. And for those of you watching, don't forget to click on the link below and watch the film.
Thank you.